Taylor to You is a podcast where your host Taylor Doherty talks with individuals who fascinate her as she's inspired by the greatest gift us humans have to offer, our story. Each guest story is unique and tailored in its own way, and that's exactly what Taylor loves about them.
The moment you stop enjoying like what you're doing, then it's just, you're not going to play well. It's just not the same. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I get to play soccer for a living. It's crazy. It's amazing. Kids dream of that. You just have to remember that it doesn't, and nothing matters when you have a ball at your feet and you're just playing a game that you love. It doesn't matter about all the pressure around you.
Gosh, let's quote that right there. Jeez, I'm drop the mic.
Yeah.
This is your host, Taylor Doherty, and my next guest and I go way, way, way back. I'm talking middle school, Downers Grove North High School, radio and TV class days. We talked about it all, and it was so fun. A much needed catch up with Collin Fernandez, a professional soccer player. Collin started playing soccer ever since he could remember, and we talked about how soccer is in his blood and that he really feels so fortunate to be able to play the game he loves for a living. He's truly living his childhood dream. At 17 years old, Collin signed with Chicago Fire, and now at 23, he has 6 years of professional experience. Collin shares with me the advice he's been given over the years, and now as a veteran himself, the advice he would give a young player entering the league. As an American Peruvian soccer player, Collin has represented the United States and Peru national teams and has traveled across the world playing soccer. I mean, pretty surreal, wild times he's had, and we talk about it all. So thank you all for tuning in to this one. We catch up, we laugh, so I hope you enjoy Collin Fernandez. It's been so long, but what's funny, remember when we did radio and TV?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I did much in that class, but
literally Mr. Waite, Mr. G, OGs. I swear one day I hope that they can come on the pod. But I remember when we would walk into class and everyone would be talking and laughing and distracted and whatnot. But then I would be the only one with assigned seat. Literally my seat.
Yeah, it was in the back corner probably.
With a sticky note that said Taylor. And I was like, wait, nobody else has assigned seats. He's like, don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh. That was too funny.
So that's what got me. I mean, I love those classes. What got me into wanting to do something like this. But I mean, DG's the best. And I think what's so fun too is that when I was Googling you, well, first of all, I can Google you, which is so cool. And so I'm Googling you and everything that comes up in literally almost every paragraph, I wish I could have counted, was Downers Grove native. And I think that's so, it was so emotional for me. I don't know. It was just so cool because not a lot of people you hear of coming out of your hometown, being a professional soccer player, following your dream.
I mean, it's cool, especially being from Downers Grove. And I was at Trader Joe's the other day and actually I was buying a bottle of wine and some kid was like, oh, Fernandez, Collin Fernandez. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, the soccer player? I'm like, yeah, that's me. And it was just kind of funny. I mean, it is cool, especially coming back here and seeing people that and you've known for a long time.
Well, and that's funny. He said the soccer player, because ever since I've known you, I mean, we know each other since probably middle school. I considered you the funny guy, the nice guy, but the soccer player, because you started at Chicago Fire in the youth academy. And then you ended up starting there and kind of getting your footing, CF 97 babies. Can we talk about, for the longest time, I thought that was Chicago Fire 97.
Well, no, it is Chicago Fire 97. So everyone thought that I would know. So people thought that I was hashtagging myself because it just so happened that my initials are Collin.
It was meant to be.
Collin Fernandez, and I was born in 1997, and that's the same year the Fire was founded, and it's just CF97, and it just kind of clicked, and then everyone was just calling me CF97, which was really funny.
No, it's honest. I mean, that's how I recognize it. It's a pretty good connection. Yes. And so how did soccer kind of become a part of your life?
Well, my grandpa actually played professional soccer in Peru for a club called Sporting Cristal. And he also played for the Peruvian national team in the 80s. And then my dad came to the U.S. when he was, I think, 10 years old, I want to say. And he didn't know any English or anything, but he moved to Hoffman Estates and he went to school there. And then he grew up and then he ended up playing professional soccer for the indoor team at the time, which in the early, the mid 90s was the Chicago Power. So he played professional soccer as well, but it was the indoor. It was there was a weird time where there wasn't really a professional outdoor league. So he played there. And then when I was born, had a ball before I was able to walk.
There's pictures of you Literally,
there's
the ball.
yeah,
Oh no, I
yeah.
saved them. I archived them for the podcast.
Of course.
But
Yeah,
it's
but
true. Like I saw pictures of your dad playing soccer. So was that a big part of why you wanted to get into it?
it never really was like a choice, honestly. Like it was just like happened. I remember when I was like 11 years old and I was still playing for the Long Shots. Shout out to the local baseball team that actually Dave and I played together, Dave Edwards and I. But yeah, he told me when I was like 11 years old, we were like he was like walking to the car or something, and I was like playing baseball with my brothers, and he's like, like you're gonna have to decide if you want to play baseball or soccer. And I'm like, okay, well, I think it's a no-brainer, Dad. Like I'm gonna play soccer. And he's like, okay, good. And that was that. And like after that, it was just like
did you just
everything
from day
came.
one?
Yeah, I mean, it was just so fun. So I grew up like playing for my dad. Like he was my coach when I was a youth player. I always tell this story of when I was young and he was my coach, and it was like the biggest like learning thing for me. And I remember the memory straight, like I could picture it now as clear as it was back then. And I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, and there was like a free kick at like half field, and I'm like, I want to shoot, like I'm going to shoot it. And he's like, you're not going to shoot it. Like get in the box. Like you can go score up closer to the goal. And I'm like, no, I'm going to shoot it. So I go and shoot it and I score from half field. And he goes, okay, good job. Like get your ass over here and sit on the bench. So I sat on the bench for the rest of the game, and I had to go home with my mom, which happened several times just because I could not stand the fact of being in the same car as him. I hated it, but it was,
So he benched you because you didn't listen to his original call.
Yeah, basically.
But that's what a coach does. Like even if you do well, they have to stick to their principle. Hey, I mean, I played sports, and like speaking of though, to that point, I remember when I would strike out looking, because I played softball, my dad would tell the girls, oh, she's not getting dinner tonight. Guess who's walking home? You know my dad though, he's like so loud and like jokes. But some of the girls, we were young, they thought my dad, he was serious.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, okay, you guys, he's taking us all to McDonald's. We're getting McFlurries, relax. And really, no, we all, even though we lost, he took us all to
Yeah. No, I would go home crying. I was devastated, but it was funny. I'll never forget that.
Did you feel pressure from him too?
I mean, to be honest, not really at all. Growing up, like he always told me just to like enjoy it. Like the moment you stop enjoying like what you're doing, like then it's just, you're not going to play well. It's just not the same.
And why do it?
Exactly. I mean, like I'm fortunate enough that I get to play soccer for a living. It's crazy. It's amazing. Like kids dream of that. So like if you feel, I mean, you'll feel pressure at different stages, like especially when you're like playing, because there is a lot of pressure for, I mean, young players, like just like trying to get through to get the next level. But you just have to remember that it doesn't, and nothing matters when you have a ball at your feet and you're just playing a game that you love. It doesn't matter about all the pressure around you.
Gosh, let's just like quote that right there. Jeez, I'm like, drop the mic.
Yeah.
but seriously, like I have to ask you, do you ever get sick of running?
Yes.
Okay, you do.
It's the worst. No, it's the worst. It's the worst part about playing soccer.
But that's all you do for the most part. Yeah,
I mean, I look forward to the day after the game, because then we get to just walk or not do anything. I mean, but the thing is like you get so used to it, like as you play more and more games, like every year you feel stronger and stronger. So it's like not so bad, but we do run a lot.
I mean, it's being killer shape. I mean, for all the photos, also too, like they get you in photos. And I mean, Collin and I are both in very healthy relationships. We're good friends over here. But seriously, like they get you, like when they take a picture of you and like your muscles and whatnot, I'm like, what the hell? Like if someone took a picture of me running that fast on a soccer field, I would need to call like everyone to get that deleted. Like,
oh my gosh.
Oh my God. No, but it's serious. Like that's just, running's not, I mean, I've never been a runner. Like I'm the elliptical.
Yeah. No, I mean,
the no girl.
Like in the like I've just like gotten used to like, so in the off season, obviously we can't, I mean, and now with COVID, like we can't like train together, but like trying to stay fit and stuff. Like I do the Peloton bike. Love the Peloton.
You jumped on the train.
I love that. Well, I've been on the train for about a couple of years now. My dad got one a while ago.
Wow.
Yeah, but
one of the OGs.
It is, yeah, he is. But it's so much fun, and that's like a good way instead of like being able to run. But like now I've been just trying to get out and run, and it's cold here, so it's not as enjoyable, but I'm like starting to get used to it because like running and playing soccer is completely different than going outside and going for a run.
Well, because it's like the different, like on the turf field, I'm sure it's like a
Yeah.
different setup, probably mindset too. I mean, when you're
Yeah.
going to score a goal or do something, you are going your full fledged. If you know you're just going for a quick run, I mean, you can chill.
Yeah.
But I did see, speaking of home workout, I saw you and Ellie did a little at-home workout today.
We did.
On Insta.
We did do an at-home workout this morning.
I can't get myself. Okay, so this is actually so true though. During COVID, it's so hard to work out at home. For someone, I need to go to a workout class or else because I can't motivate myself.
The Peloton app is a lifesaver for at-home workouts.
I mean, I'm literally down for anything.
You can do like outdoor runs that are like guided. You can do like outdoor walks, and you can do like at-home like body weight classes. Like you don't even need anything.
So it's
actually crazy.
So it's not just the bike.
No, it's not just the bike. They have like all these weight classes.
Because the bike hurts me.
You sound like my mom.
And
my mom says the same thing.
And I think other people, okay, here's the thing. Any girl listening to this has to be like, yes, like I agree. But like my question is, why aren't the guys saying that?
I don't know. I have no clue.
They have something else going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is this bike happening for you? I mean, okay, this is great workout advice for me. I could definitely use that as some motivation. But you're talking about your dad. What qualities does your dad have that you admire most?
I think that the most admirable quality he has is that he never gives up. Like he's gone from a few different jobs to a few different coaching gigs to now he owns his own business, and he's just never given up. And like, he's like gotten through it regardless of anything. So for me, like, that's inspirational. Like if I ever feel like giving up, that like, I think of that. I think of him and I think of why would I give up so easily if I could just keep fighting for what I believe in and what I love. So that's what's kind of rubbed off on me the most.
Is there anything too, because I know your mom is such a big part of your life too. What about your mom?
I'm the
April,
mama's
right?
boy. April
Yes.
is.
See, that's how I know her name, because you're your mama's boy. Like you've told like
I'm
your
a mama's
mom,
boy.
yeah.
Yeah, I am the daughter my mother never had, honestly.
Because she has all boys, yeah.
I got two brothers, Jake and Nick. Me and my mom are like inseparable. I can't wait to see her. I haven't seen her in like a month and a half, so I get to see her on Saturday, which is exciting.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So then what quality for her? Your dad's never give up. That's a great one.
Yeah. Well, she has to deal with my dad too. That's another thing itself. No,
that's women in general.
Yeah, seriously. Ellie's up there like, yeah, I know. I got to deal with Collin too.
Oh, 100%.
But no, my mom is just such a caring person, and she's always so positive, and it just rubs off on me. So for her to be always positive is always like super helpful. And she's just very, I don't know, she's like very like just like go with the flow. It's kind of taught me to be like that. I'm really grateful for that, considering like I play a sport where I could be in one place one year and then a different the next, and I'm able to go all these different places, which is like an unbelievable experience itself. She's just like so mellow and chill and always positive. That's like my favorite quality about her.
And truly too, I mean, that's such a great quality that you possess now, because you totally have to go with the flow with all the transitions you've made from team to team. But you've also talked about too, I saw in an interview, you said you are open to any opportunity. Your eyes are always open. I think that's such a great quality to have. And that really resonated with me. I think people should always be looking for an opportunity or like the next thing.
I mean, like if you're sitting in one place all the time, you're never like, you can't like, part of like growing up is change. Well, it's been a lot of change for me for like the past 5 years, but I mean, it's been good. I mean, I had to grow up fast.
You seriously did. And you're always traveling the world. You'd be gone for a certain period of time. You'd be like, oh, wait, why isn't Collin in class? Oh, he's playing for the U.S. national team. No big deal.
In middle school, I think I was out of school more times than I was there.
I mean, I remember it was just like normal. It was like, oh, you know, he's playing soccer. He's in Czech Republic right now, just scored a goal. Yeah. Like normal. You were signed a homegrown player contract with Chicago Fire, which is who you played for since you were 13 years old.
Since I was, I played for, it was 12, I think. I played for the youth team, which at the time was Chicago Fire Juniors, which I mean, I still think they're around. But then once I was 12 and once I was 13, I started playing for the academy, which was like it was kind of different. It was like a different sort of club. It was closer to like the actual Chicago Fire. And then I played there until I was 17.
I mean, it's literally your roots.
Yeah.
What was that like signing with them?
It was great to be like in a place where I was comfortable, like at home, but I never really got that much of an opportunity to play for the first team, which obviously wasn't ideal for my development. But I was fortunate enough that I got to be loaned out to a couple of clubs, which was at the first club was Louisville City in 2015. And then in 2016, it was St. Louis FC. So I was fortunate enough to play like 4 or 5 games in Louisville and then 3 or 4 in St. Louis, that I was just able to get some professional experience in games. And then actually my last year in Chicago in 2017, I was loaned out to Tulsa and I played 30 games there, which is a ton of games for a season. You usually play, I think at the time it was 34 games. Yeah, 34 games in a season. Ended up playing 30 games out of the 34. Like that experience for me is like why I was like able to like be exposed to other teams and have like the experience that I have now. So I'm super grateful for that. And the Fire in the Chicago Fire, like, I mean, I got that opportunity because of them, because they were an affiliate with all those teams, except for Louisville City. They weren't an affiliate, but I was just loaned out to them.
What was it like being in Kentucky? I love the state.
I was only there for about like a month and a half. I didn't really do much. I was still so young. I think I was 18. I was 18. But that experience was really interesting too, because I had been loaned down there and then I got called back to like, so Louisville was like, so there's MLS, which is like the league. And then there's like the US Open Cup, which is like the tournament that like all of like teams in the US can potentially play in.
Oh,
and
don't worry. I was literally trying to figure out the soccer hierarchy. And I was like, am I just not getting this?
Yeah.
I was like,
it's a
I
bit
had to pull almost
confusing.
like calculator. I'm like, wait, okay, A, B, C.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. But the US Open Cup is like a tournament that like any team can play in the US, whether they're like an amateur team or professional. It just so happened that I was on loan in Louisville and I got loaned out, and I was like in Louisville. We played a game in Rochester, New York, and we were busing to Chicago because they were playing Chicago in the Open Cup, and I was still under contract with Chicago. And the coach calls me like the day I get into town, the coach for the Fire, and is like, hey, Collin, like, I just want to let you know, like, obviously, you know, like we have the game in 2 days against Louisville. I just want to let you know, like, we're going to put you on the roster for our team. Meanwhile, I just bust back to Chicago from Rochester, New York with Louisville City, the team. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like these guys literally probably think I'm a fraud. Then I was on the bench. I didn't end up playing in the game, but like that. And then like that experience was just like so funny. And then like I ended up like going back to Louisville, like with the team. And I was like, this is crazy.
Just in general, transitioning, like you just said, from team to team, obviously it's brought some great experiences for you and some professional minutes and things like that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the dynamic between teammates, different coaches, that has to be an adjustment.
For sure. I mean, but like being so young, I think that, I mean, young, I say, but I'm not that so young anymore as a player. I mean, there's kids that are playing at 15 right now. It's nuts. But being 23 years old and like having played for, I think 6 teams. I mean, obviously the turnover is not like, it's not ideal to be playing for 6 different clubs all the time, like every, like different club every year. But that being said, I've got to meet some great people and make some unbelievable connections with people. For example, I got to play in 2018 with Didier Drogba, which is a Chelsea legend, scored a goal in the Champions League to win them. He's running for the FA president of Ivory Coast. So like, just like being able to have connections, like playing, like I didn't play all that much with Schweinsteiger. I think I might have trained with him once, Bastian Schweinsteiger, World Cup winner.
Yeah, I'm over here like I'm about to Google these people.
Yeah. No, but like just having
I'm sure any soccer people would be like dropping their jaws.
Yeah, which is really cool. But I mean, now, I mean, like I feel like being young, like being a younger player, like you're fortunate to like be able to move and go to different clubs and have like kind of like that leeway to go. But obviously consistency is good. And like, that's what I'm kind of looking for right now, is to go somewhere where I can stick. To
be able to meet these new people, all these different connections. But what we kind of touched on earlier too, was that you traveled. So you've been all over.
Yeah.
You represented Peru and at the under 20 level in November of 2016, which is so cool because you are also Peruvian. Well, obviously, you know, you represented, but you've also represented the U.S. national team in under 18, under 20. So what have those experiences been like?
I mean, they were cool because like with the youth national team, like also like you get to meet so many people, like because like you and like that's why I'm fortunate to have friends from a lot of like different places, a lot of different states, even a lot of like, even other countries. There's kids from everywhere. So like you make like so many different connections with these people and these players, and like some of those like friendships last forever. Like I'm still like one of my buddies, he played in Columbus, his name is Ben Swanson, and he lives in LA right now, and we still talk at least once a month. We try to stay together. We actually just did a Peloton ride together a couple weeks ago, and he absolutely crushed me.
Everyone loves the Peloton. I'm late.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing. It's a great investment, honestly.
Wait,
but
who's your one friend that you're still friends with? He went to IU.
Gutman?
Yes, Gutman. Yeah. Remember, I went to a game and no, what was I doing? Wait, okay, this goes back to my radio TV days. I think I was like recording something. Remember I was recording you and Gutman and like the team for something. Probably. And I came to the academy.
Oh my gosh, I do remember that. I do like remember
a camera
that.
Crew. Yeah. Oh my God. So this just shows you all, everybody listening, I was the chick who literally was, videoing people doing this and Collin's, scoring goals. And here we are. We literally started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah, no, Gutman's doing really well for himself. He's playing in Cincinnati right now in the MLS. The season was shorter this year, but I think he played in over 75% of the games, which is awesome for him. I'm really happy for him. I actually saw him a couple weeks ago.
That's so exciting. Did you ever really think, like when you were younger and starting to play soccer and you and Gutman, all your other teammates playing the academy, was that something that you all knew that you were going to play at least somewhere in the league?
No, I don't know. Honestly, it's so hard to say because like when me and Gutman have been playing against each other since we were kids, and he was this kid, and we would play at Robbins Park in Hinsdale. And he would show up to the game and I'd be like, oh my gosh, we're playing against this kid again. And he had these big goggles. He had these goggles on. And I would be like, this guy is not a soccer player. This can't be serious. And he would go out there and he'd be flying by people. And I was like, oh my gosh, but he was good. Like he was really good, but it was so funny. Like, it's like, we never forget each other, like when we were playing against each other. And like his cousin played for like my team and we played against each other, but it was fun.
You have like that relatability too, where you all have experienced kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And the pressures and the sport. So I'm sure there's that connection too. And you guys can has there been someone in your life, a player? I mean, it probably is one of your friends that you've kind of gone to and been like, okay, man, like what the hell? I'm like this is just stressful, or like just scored a goal, love life.
Yeah. No, I mean,
the highs and the lows.
I feel like on every team I've had like a different person like that. Like you obviously like have like different connections like with different like players on your team, and like some are stronger than others. But like I've kind of had like a group of players on like each team that I've been super close with, that like we've been able to have like we would go like after training, we have nothing to do after training. Like we train for 2 hours a day in the morning, and the rest of the day is, I mean, I do school, but I don't do it every day. I mean, it's like probably like every other day if I'm lucky.
Wait, that's what I was going to ask you too. So because you went straight to the pros when you were, obviously you were 17 back in 2014. That's so wild. God, why are we 23? Like, where has the time gone? And I know we're still young, but it just doesn't, I feel like whenever I fill out those forms and it's like, how old are you? Sometimes I think I'm 18. It's weird. Yeah. Like I don't register it.
It's crazy to think about. When did we graduate high school?
2015.
Like that's nuts.
DGN, Trojans.
Like represent. That's 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Jeez. God, I can't believe it. Speaking of though, you didn't go to college because you were playing soccer. Was that something, did you find that as a sacrifice? Or?
No, it was like kind of like a thing where like I knew that I was going to do some sort of school, and it started like off as College of DuPage. Like I was doing online classes through just through the school. And I did two or three of them. And I was like, this is not fun. but then
this is not radio and TV.
Yeah, this is not radio and TV. But also I was like really young and I was a punk. I was like, I don't want to do school. Like I don't need to do school.
You're like, I just signed with Chicago Fire. Nah.
Yeah, I was a punk. And
this algebra problem can wait.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was, I think after I'd signed, I finished school, like high school, and then we graduated in the summer or whenever it was, May. And like, I took like that whole like kind of semester off when everyone went back to school. It was basically, well, it's a whole year for me because I graduated high school early. So I like took that whole year off.
But you
and then I
walked
was
with
like,
us.
Yeah, then I walked with you guys. But so I took that year off, and then the next year I was like, okay, like I should probably be doing something. Like I'm just kind of wasting my time. Like I should definitely be like learning something. And then that's when I signed up for those COD classes. And then it just so happened after those like 3 classes, like the league got a sponsor with Southern New Hampshire University. I'm sure you've seen the commercials. Go Penman. But like so we got a league sponsor and we were able to get like 75% off classes. So like it was like a no-brainer for me. And I like in my contract at the time, I had like school paid for, so which was really nice. So I got to just do that. I would take like 1 or 2 classes every 8 weeks. And I got my associate's degree this past year, and I'm just working towards my bachelor's.
Gosh, good for you, Collin, because I did not know that.
Yeah.
You're such a scholar.
I'm trying.
And an athlete, because now you're in Tacoma, which.
So yeah, I was in Tacoma last year.
What goes through your mind when those transitions happen?
It's my choice. So like I like talk to the team, like I talk to the teams like through my agent, and then they tell me like a day that I have to be there before preseason, and I pack up my stuff, I get on a plane or I drive my car and I'm there for preseason.
Wow. Okay. So when you say it's your choice, because it's almost in a way like a free agent.
Yeah.
Is that how it would
essentially
be described? Okay.
Yeah. There's not as many as in the USL, which is like the second division in the US. There's not any, if any, rules unless you're under contract with the club. So like when I was traded, it was my choice to be traded. So, I mean, it's nice that I'm able to have a say in it, but yeah. So like, it's usually like, kind of just depends on whatever, like what team wants you, what team needs players. Like,
do you
it's honestly
research with your agent?
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm in the process of it right now. I'm looking for another team. So, I mean, I reach out to people that I'm trying to reach out to people that I know just to like kind of connect with them, because I obviously need a place to play next year. And it's obviously hard because of COVID. Teams don't know the future and what's going to happen, like with the clubs. And obviously they don't want to lose more money than they already have this past season. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Do you ever wonder, like, maybe I want to do something other than soccer, or has it always been your end goal?
No, I mean, I've always thought about soccer. Like soccer has always been like, I want to play soccer, but you can't play soccer forever. It's unrealistic. Like you have to think
you can't run all day.
I cannot, your body can only last so long doing that. But honestly, yeah. So like, I mean, I think about it. I think like, oh, could I get into coaching? Could I do these things? But then, I mean, it's a lot. Like you think about like all these coaches, like they sacrifice so much. I mean, just as we do as players, like they sacrifice so much time with their families, like they sacrifice a lot. So, I mean, I'm still weighing out the options, definitely.
That's the kind, going with the flow.
Yeah.
Kind of guy you are.
Going with the flow, whatever happens. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I just go with it.
You kind of have the flow going right now with your hair. You've grown it out.
I grew it out. It's really long, actually.
Oh my God. You could put it in a man bun. You could literally do a little top knot.
Ellie keeps trying to do that. I'm not having any of that.
It looks good. I remember you with like a buzz cut. It's just a different look.
Thank you. Yeah. I used to have the short on the sides and then a little bit on top, but
yeah,
I know I like it long now. I mean, I don't know if I could go back anytime soon.
I still want to go into more about Tacoma, because I know you're transitioning now, but that experience had to have been so cool, because something I thought that was interesting was you were number 97.
Yeah, I was number 97.
We're kind of going back. It all came full circle for you.
Yeah.
And CF97 never dies.
CF97.
And what I thought was really cool though is that Harry Shipp was on the team. And so wasn't he, and he was one of your teammates at the Chicago Fire.
Yeah, so he was on the first team. So like, I mean, I was playing with the second team technically, and he was at the first team, and he had done, cause like once he went from Chicago, he went to Montreal, and then he got picked up by Seattle, and Seattle was home for him. He won an MLS Cup there and 2 MLS Cups there. So, I mean, like it worked out really well for him. And obviously like being a Chicago native, I saw him probably within like the first few days I was there, which was really cool because like we'd played in Chicago together when I was just young. And I think I was telling the coach about this, my coach in Tacoma, like it's like interesting. It's like fun, like funny to go into a locker room with like a guy like Harry that was like out of college, like 24, 25. And then like, I was this young kid, like I was just a kid, like when I was there, and like, now I'm kind of grown up. So like, it was cool to like see him and talk to him and stuff.
The hometown connection never dies. It's just, it always is kind of feels good to see someone that you have a history with. And it's interesting too, because you both were signed as homegrown players that same year in 2014.
Yeah.
So you also have that tie.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was me and Harry, and then one other player. I think it might've been Chris Ritter, but yeah, we were signed that year, but I wasn't eligible to play till the following season.
Is that just so cool when you think about being, well, one, I mean, you're an unbelievable player. Your minutes, your goals, all of your assists. I mean, I was also, like I said, trying to go through soccer stats, and I just have never really known soccer. I think it's so awesome what you're doing. I'm not going to act like I know everything about soccer because I just don't. But it's just so cool for you, I'm sure, to be also surrounded by these other players who have won the World Cup.
Yeah, Schweinsteiger won the World Cup.
Okay, yes. And then also the other friend who won the U.S. Cup that you had a big age gap with. It was like
John
20.
Bush.
Yes, John Bush.
Yeah, he was double my age.
That's what I thought was so crazy too. I was so intrigued by the age gap.
Yeah.
Like literally you were 17.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What is that? So what?
But John Bush was an awesome guy. Yeah, he was an awesome guy. He was so fun so cool in the locker room. I mean, it's like guys like that just like take you under their wing and are like trying to just teach you, because like some kids don't have that like opportunity. I'm grateful that I had that opportunity for guys like John Bush or Logan Paws to like whip me into shape, honestly. Like I remember there was a training session in Chicago when I was in 2014, and Logan Paws went into a tackle with me and stepped on my chest and like looked over at me and basically just waiting for me to react somehow. And I was like, I'm not going to react. Like, I'm going to be like, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to react.
I'm dying, but I'm not going to react.
Exactly. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do here, if he's trying to test me or whatnot. And then I got up and after training, he was like, I was just trying to test you and see how you'd react. Because like, I mean, it's part, like that's all that stuff is part of the game. And like, I'll never forget that moment when that happened. Like, I was like, that hurt, but it's whatever. Like I'm the low man.
It hurt, but I needed it because those are the life lessons.
Yeah. Like you learn so much from that.
I wonder too if he was, because I feel like a lot of those lessons, that happened to him.
Of course.
However many years ago.
For sure. When you're a young player, like you have to like respect the older players. Like you just have to, like, regardless if you're right or wrong, it does not matter.
They have that experience.
Yeah. And I think that's like a big lesson that I learned, and I'm grateful that I learned it like when I was really young, because some players struggle with that, like with their ego, and like there's very few that are able to have that opportunity to just be like, they're, I'm sure, extremely talented, but like the most important part of being a professional athlete is your attitude. Like if you have a terrible attitude, no one wants to play with you. No one wants to be on your team. No one, like, it's no good. Like you're honestly just like, you're setting yourself up to fail. And so like, that's the biggest thing that I've learned from like the past 6 years of playing, is that like, your attitude is everything. Whether you're playing, whether you're not playing, like it doesn't matter. You support the team, you support your teammates. It doesn't matter. You go to work every day and you give everything you have, regardless if you're playing or not.
What do you think your teammates would say about you? Like if I were to ask them, hey, CF97, how would you describe him?
I don't know. They'd probably say I'm an asshole on the field.
You're the funny one. I'm sure you're like cracking jokes the whole time.
No, I mean, like before training, I'm always good for some good like banter between the team. But once training starts, like I'm not your friend anymore. I'm your teammate, and I'm going to try to push you to get better.
Like Jordan style. Did you watch that? Yeah.
I mean, I wish I had that mentality. That guy's different level. That's just a different mentality.
Oh my God. That I've watched it. Stephanie Green, my roommate, our friend from high school, she has caught me watching The Last Dance so many times. She's like, you've seen this so many times. I'm like, he gives me like, not even just him, just the team, the whole like Dennis Rodman. I mean, everyone just gives me this spunk where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go edit now. Like, I'm going to be the best at this.
It's your motivation. I watched like the 8th episode before one of my games, and I was like, I'm going to try to have the MJ mentality. Like, I'm just going to go out there and be a killer.
Like, forget pump up songs. Just watch an episode of The Last Dance.
Honestly.
Before you go out.
Yeah. And put on the Bulls walkout song.
Oh, I mean, literally, it's so good. Everything about it. What is does soccer do walk-up songs, or what would yours be?
What would my walkout song be?
Yeah.
I have no clue. That's tough.
Well, while you're
I don't know.
thinking, I remember mine. This is kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is. For softball, mine was WAP. And this was,
oh my gosh.
okay. And this was like however many years ago, 7 or 8. So no, it wasn't the Cardi B. It was like, oh, I need a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, WAP. WAP. And I literally was like swinging my bat, like,
gosh.
oh yeah, you don't want this.
The other team was probably looking at you like, what is wrong with this girl?
Every other girl song was probably this like pop song or girl song.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And I literally came out
gosh.
there, and I mean, let's hope I did something out there, because that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I think walk-up song is so fun.
Right now, mine would probably be Mood.
Oh, that's such a good one.
That was my favorite song this year.
It's honestly, it puts you in that mood.
Yeah, it puts me in a mood.
It does.
It's definitely a vibe.
It's okay. That's a good walk-up song. Well, I want to wrap up with a game, because I remember, I found this. I wasn't at the interview with you, but you did a get to know Collin Fernandez 5 years ago.
When was this?
Well, let's see if you remember. And so we're going to do a get to know Collin Fernandez 2020 edition.
Okay.
And so you answered these exact questions 5 years ago. And I usually like to give fresh questions, but I thought this would just be kind of a fun opportunity to see if you would answer it the same today, with your experience and just what you've kind of been through.
That's fun.
Okay, cool. We haven't even started yet.
Yeah, that's good
fun. Okay. Well, let's get started. So the first question is, if you were to play a sport other than soccer, what would it be?
Hockey.
Okay.
Was that the same answer I gave?
That was the same answer.
I knew it.
Wow. Okay. So it was actually funny, because when you said that too, you said that you grew up playing at the pond, and right away I was like, Prince Pond?
Yeah, all the time. I think that like hockey is most similar like to indoor soccer. So it's pretty relatable in like the sense of the game. And fortunately enough, I'm able to ice skate pretty well, and I can play ice. So I think it just works out the best for me. As much fun as it would be to just sit on first base and catch balls, I mean, that sounds fantastic and make millions of dollars, but I think hockey would be more fun.
Well, it's also funny too that I wouldn't have expected you to say that it's similar to soccer. It just shows that you want soccer. So you're going to find something that's the closest to it.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to be good at it, it's got to be something similar, like most similar to something I'm good at.
I like the strategy.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 2. If there was a movie made of your life, who would play you?
Oh my God. I don't know who I said this about.
Well, don't think about that. Just think now.
I know. I'm trying to think now.
It's a hard question.
Who would it be?
I've always gotten Cameron Diaz growing up.
Really?
When I had like my bob when I was really little.
Well,
so
are we talking looks, or are we talking like personality?
Personality. It's going to be someone on Bravo or The Real Housewives. That's it probably won't be like an A-list celebrity if we're talking personality.
I would just love to say Owen Wilson from Wedding Crashers, but not the looks, because I can't stand the way he looks. But I would love to be Owen Wilson from Wedding Crashers.
Wait, let's go with it. Well, he has like that witty, like funny, like that you do. So
funny. Yeah, and like it's like sort of like a rom-com in like a sense, and I'm a big rom-com guy.
What's favorite rom-com?
Favorite rom-com ever? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh my God.
Greatest movie ever.
Me too.
It's my favorite movie ever.
Okay, as that came out of my mouth, I was thinking How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, like in my mind about myself.
Yeah.
It's the best.
McConaughey, Kate Hudson combo is unbelievable.
I love who they're with today in real life, but I just sometimes wish they would just get back together for us. Or like just be together. I don't think they ever even were.
I know. I was watching something on, it was like on Matthew McConaughey's page on Instagram, and he was like talking about how he still, like, that's the most money he'll make is from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, because people will never stop watching that movie.
He said to
me.
Me and Collin are literally paying for his house on Malibu.
Seriously.
Wait, okay, I love that. Well, okay, so you said 5 years ago Kevin Hart.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I'm not that funny.
Okay, but I have to say too, when you were asked
I
this
probably
question,
said that as a joke.
when you were asked this question, you were the same. Well, first of all, when anyone gets asked this question, it's hard. Like, how does someone just come up with that? Because you don't want to sound like cocky or like
exactly. How do you give like a
yeah.
humble answer?
100%. So it's hard.
Yeah.
So
it's like, oh, like everyone's going to say like, oh, I want Leo to play me. But like, that's not realistic. It's not realistic.
literally, oh, I'm totally Jennifer Aniston.
Exactly. Like, come on.
No, it's true. It's a hard question, but I thought it'd be funny because you said Kevin Hart, which it's great. Okay, the next one. If you could play alongside any player in the history of the game, who would it be?
Messi.
Oh, wait.
Who did I say before?
You said Ronaldinho.
Oh, Ronaldinho. Yeah, but I guess Messi's emerged to be the greatest so far.
Wow.
I mean,
well, and you said that so it's Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho.
Oh,
yeah.
Ronaldinho. I'm learning. You said that he was your favorite player as a kid and still is 5 years ago.
That's tough. Yeah.
God, don't do this to him.
But the thing was, is he wasn't retired at the time. He was still playing. So like now it's like, it kind of weighs into the factor that like Messi's still playing at like the highest level and Ronaldinho's retired. But Ronaldinho was so much fun to watch as a kid because like he always just like was like enjoying himself. Like he always had a smile on his face. Anybody you ask about Ronaldinho, they'll just say like, oh, he like literally just played just to have fun. Like he just played to enjoy himself.
Well, literally his picture on Google, I mean, everything, his smile is so big. So as you said that, that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same thing I'm picturing when I'm talking about it. Yeah, I mean.
Wait, okay. I'm actually kind of surprised but I think this is the whole fun of the game, though. We can see how you've changed.
Compare and contrast.
Yes.
How exciting.
Like we said from the beginning, we started talking about growth.
This is a next level podcast, top level. This is Champions League.
It's all about growth. That's what we're here. That's what we're here to do. Okay. The next question is, what is the best advice you ever see from a veteran player?
Probably to not be probably to like not show emotion when things don't go your way. Yeah. And I say that solely because like people see like actions speak louder than words. Like people see your face, people see if you're not happy. Like, so to be able to like hide that or just turn that into like a positive thought of some sort, like goes a long way.
Look at the glass half full.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like the only way to do it is just to be like positive about like make it positive and to like make the best out of that possible situation is to be positive.
Do you remember who's told you that? Or has that been something that's just been a part of your career?
Honestly, the majority of older players have told me that. I mean, Didier Drogba told me that when I was playing in Phoenix in 2018, and he's played at the highest level we can think of. Agents talk to you about it. Like if you talk to your agent, like he'll tell you like don't be like brought down by the fact that like you're not playing today, like, or not starting. Like it's okay. Like you just go back to training on Monday and show that you deserve to be playing. So
to know that that this is a common piece of advice from people in the sports world or soccer world, it's probably makes you feel a little relieved too. Like I'm not alone. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like the thing is only 11 guys can play. 11 guys can start in a game, and you have 20 to 25 guys on the roster. So competitive. So it's like, so it's like not everyone's going to get to play all those minutes. So, I mean, that's like, so like you learn from each other. Like you obviously like get to know that like the guys that don't like play together, like that play, and like you like talk amongst each other. But like you have to be positive about it and like support the team at the end of the day, because that's the only way that you're going to actually get your opportunity. It's kind of like how you were kind of going back to earlier, all about the attitude, that respect factor. Yeah, exactly. Working together as a whole, kind of like the end goal that we're all trying to win in the end. For sure. Well, do you want to hear what you said 5 years ago? What did I say 5 years ago? You said Patrick Nyarko told you to keep working hard and focus on the big picture. Yeah. Patrick Nyarko was a big influence on me in Chicago when I was young. He was just an unbelievable person, like off the field, on the field, like just like one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And like being able to play with him, I was so fortunate and learn from him, because at the time, like he had played in MLS for eight or 9 years, close to. And then he got traded the following season to DC United. And then we played, and I actually made my home debut against them and played against them. And we traded jerseys after the game, which was fun. Oh my God, that's so special.
Yeah, I actually have his jersey somewhere here in the basement.
So even though it wasn't the same advice, I mean, you've gotten so much advice over the years. I'm sure that one still resonates with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And just Patrick Nyarko in general. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
special. And so now that you're a veteran yourself, I mean, technically,
I know it's crazy to
6
to hear
years.
that. Yeah, yeah.
What would be kind of going off the game a little bit now here too? Because I would love to know what would be your advice to a rookie. I mean, you've been given advice your whole career.
Keep working hard because you're eventually going to get an opportunity. You just have to be ready when you get that opportunity.
You got one shot.
Honestly,
Lose it.
well,
Wait,
the thing
why am I
is,
blanking on the words?
yeah, no, because like I had that experience where like I was young and I thought that I had an ego and that I was the best, and that's not the way. That's not how it's going to work. That's not what's going to get you to like stay a soccer professional athlete. So in 2018, we played in the USL Cup final, and before that, I had torn like 2 ligaments in my ankle. So I was out from May until July, like end of July. So I was out for a good amount of time. And like before that, I was playing every game, which was good for me. And then I got hurt, which was not ideal. And then I came back and I wasn't playing as much because like it was hard to get back in the team. Like when the team's doing well, like you can't blame the coach, you can't blame anybody because the team's winning. At the end of the day, you're like the team goes out there to go win the game, to go win games, like to make to the playoffs, to go win a championship. I wasn't playing that much, and I got to play like 1 game before the playoffs. I played 90 minutes, which was a whole game. And then like the coach came to me on the Friday or the Thursday before the Friday game. He called me and he said, Collin, I'm going to start you tomorrow in the playoff game, in the first game, because I think you're ready. And I think you're going to give us the best opportunity to win the game. And I was so happy in that moment because I knew that my like positive attitude and like everything that I was putting into training, it was rewarded. Like it wasn't unseen. Now this is my opportunity. In the next 3 games, and then we won the first playoff game, won the second playoff game, won the third playoff game. So we won the Western Conference Championship, which was my first trophy, first and only trophy right now. Hopefully more to come.
I mean, hey, one,
yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, and then unfortunately we lost in the final, but like that was an experience that I'll never forget, and how good that felt to be like ready in that moment where you don't know that what's going to happen, because I didn't know I was going to play. But I knew that like I was preparing myself to play because I had the right attitude and I was giving everything that I had. So that was a great moment for me as a player. One of my favorites so far.
I mean, just kind of like how you're saying earlier, always open to those opportunities, always have your eyes open. You clearly had that mentality through your whole career, and it's shown through. So that's great to hear. God, yeah. I love to hear like those like moments too, like you know, the moments for the athlete, because there's, I'm sure so many, but there's probably only a couple that really in, let's say 20 years, you'll be like, wow, that was the moment, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But, so, hey, in 20 years, can I book you? And we'll,
of course. Yeah.
And we'll talk about that moment.
Yeah.
I know I said I was going to wrap with that game, but I had a couple of questions, or I guess this last question I really wanted to wrap with. So with all of your experiences and everything you had now, what would you go back and tell 17-year-old Collin?
I tell young Collin to be patient and to work hard and just stay looking at the big picture and keep a good attitude. That's all I tell him.
Straight and to the point.
Yeah.
And then you're going to tell him, and also in about 10 weeks, you're going to hear that from Patrick Nyarko.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're going to hear that shortly.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get your ass beat a couple times. Like it's going to happen. Just be prepared for it.
Gosh, Collin, this has been so much fun. I mean, one, it's just been fun.
It was awesome.
It's been fun to learn about, you and I have never sat down and talked about your whole journey playing soccer, but it's also, like we said, just been so long. So I'm so proud of you and everything you're doing. And it's just so cool for me, like I said, to have grown up with someone, you know, who's doing so well and following his dreams. So definitely, I'm sure you're a role model to so many young kids out there, and there's people in general. So thanks for being you. Hashtag growth.
Thank you, Taylor.
Hashtag CF97.
Oh my gosh, I knew it was coming.
I can't let it go.
Taylor.
Thank you for listening to this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I know you want more, so subscribe to the Tailored to You podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. I also encourage you to make this podcast tailored to you. Visit t2upodcast.com to submit your questions, topics of interest, types of guests, really anything. Just say hi to me. And I hope even your own story, because I'm eager to hear and share it. Let's have some fun. We'll talk soon.